What's up? This your young boy, young J.Perk of J.Perk Productions. I'm back again, you know, with my camera series, doing it real big, talking about photos, video, camera type equipment, just things like that. I answer general questions and all types of cool things. So if you got any questions, hit me up on YouTube, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere you can find me. And the easiest way you can find me is go to Google or your favorite search engine and search J.Perk Productions or search 8PSPI, and that's spelled EIGHT. PSPI. So you search those things, you'll find a whole list of stuff about me, what I do, my sites, my videos, my photos, blah blah blah. But today we're here to talk about this 85mm f1.8 lens. I copped this about like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and today I'm gonna do like a good review on it. So let's start with the price. The price of this lens was about, I want to say 400 something. I really don't remember because it was so cheap. And when I was first deciding to get this focal length and this wide fast lens, it was this or the 85mm 1.2. And I'm so happy that I got this 1.8 for several reasons. Number one being the price. I saved about $1,500. We can go to the 6D, which I'm so happy about that. And also, I was hearing the autofocus was kind of slow in there. And sometimes I like to shoot moving subjects, or just especially the T2i. Slow autofocus with the T2i's lacking autofocus really doesn't make for a good combination of awesomeness. So I decided to go with this one. It was much cheaper. The 1.8 was about like what, a full stop slower, but I mean it's all good. So the price is really good. It's a good price, you know, for this type of lens. And I was shooting with this lens for a while. I did a whole bunch of tests and things like that. It's quite dusty. My goodness, my lenses get so dusty. And at 1.8 is really sharp. It's definitely color fringing and stuff like that. Like if you're outside and you're at 1.8 on a bright day, but that's to be expected. But it's very sharp at 1.8. It's very sharp at like f2 and all those other good apertures going all the way up. It's a beautiful lens. I haven't really get to do too much portrait work because I haven't found like the people to take photos of. Like, if you look at my photographs, it's mostly just stuff like objects and things like that. But I'm telling the people out there, my photo game is crazy, and you need to come work with J.Perk Productions because my photographs are on another level, and I'm working hard every day to create the most beautiful photographs. So you give me a chance out there, and I'll make your photographs look really wonderful, and I'll show you my true talent. So anyway, getting back to this lens, it's an ultrasonic motor, 85mm f1.8. You got the manual focus and autofocus switch, and it's also a full-time manual, so if you're in autofocus mode you can still bub it around. It doesn't come up anything, so all the focus is internal. It has a nice distance scale, that I use sometimes, especially if I'm shooting stars like that. You use the distance scale to set it to infinity, and it's quite nice. It's small. I actually purchased this additional lens hood just because sometimes if the lens falls, I remember one time my 24 fell and that lens hood saved its life, so shout out to that. So I got this lens hood just to be safe because I don't like buying lenses over because that's like crazy. So I got a lens hood for the safety, and it's beautiful, crazy, beautiful, sharp images. It's a powerful lens. The build quality is plasticky, but it has a metal mount, and it's about $400 something. So you can't go wrong with this lens if you're looking for like a 85mm focal type length. And I mean, I know on a crop it's a little closer in, but nonetheless this is good for portraits, and when I do finally go full frame it'll be amazing. But this is a really good lens, you know. I had fun with it, and I'm still having fun with it. I'm doing like product photography and things like that, and the background just disappears. It's maximum focus distance. I mean, its closest focal distance is like 2.8 feet, so that's kind of a bummer dealing with that macro and go like 3 inches. But it's something to get used to, and it's not that bad at the end of the day because I have both of those lenses where I can go close and far. But the shallow depth of field you get, it's just like, wow, this is amazing. The background melts, the background disappears, the subject is isolated, it's beautiful, and it's stunning, you know, very stunning. And this is a good lens, and I can't wait to really put it to the true portrait test, and I get my people out there doing true portraits and let the background just melt away. Just let the essence of the person just show, and let the photograph be telling a story with just that one person isolated in town. It's gonna be beautiful with this 1.8 lens. My T2i, that's what I'm shooting with. It has terrible ISO performance, so I cap it out at 800, 1600 if I'm feeling crazy, but 800 is the most I'm willing to go because the quality is just horrible. But that's why I get these fast lenses like the 85 1.8 and the 24 1.4. It really helps, you know, suck in the light, get lower light performances, get that crazy shadow depth of field that I love, and it just helps, you know, create my style, you know, my prime style of photography and stuff like that. So overall, this is a good lens, a good buy. It's very cheap, and compared to the 85mm 1.2, I don't never even picked up that lens, but that lens is gigantic. But I would have got it if I had the extra money and I felt it was worth that extra money, and if the focusing was better, because from a lot of different reviews and things like that, they all said the same thing, that the focus was slow and that you couldn't even use it really for sporting events, for indoor sports and things like that, because they're just terribly slow. And that's just like a drawback for me, because I like to switch it up. Sometimes I do a little sports. So most of the time I do like objects and things like that, night photography, long exposures and things like that. But overall, as part of the focusing of this one, is quite well. It focuses really good. I don't think it's on a level as a 24 as far as the ultrasonic silence, but it's much silent than a regular lens, but it's not as silent as the ultrasonic in my 24mm 1.4L. But nonetheless, it's very good. It focuses quite well, and if using autofocus, it focuses good. And it's very good. Like, it's a very powerful lens that I like. And I also do a lot of long exposure work. So when I'm doing this long exposure work, I usually have it on manual focus, live view, bang, 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 knock it out. And it performs great. Like, just the quality of the lens, for the price that I paid for this lens, the quality of the lens is amazing. I get beautiful photographs. And if you see some of my things I did in DC, you see how the background just melts away, how everything is isolated. It just gives a different perspective from what you're used to looking at my long exposure photography in the past. So that's just basically, you know, the initial review of this lens. And if you have any more questions, you can put them down in the comments. But this is a great lens for the price. About $400 or so. I copped this off of Canon's website, and this is the first lens that I brought with my own money that was brand new. Usually I get refurbs, so that was like a new thing because it was so cheap that I can afford to do that. And it's brand new lens. It's nice. It's 58mm filter thread, and you can see how the bezel is so tiny as you look through it. It's nice. You know, it's just a nice smooth type lens. It's small, it's nice, it's a nice portrait focal length. It's something different that I didn't have with the 100, because the 100 is a f2.8, but the 100 you can focus so close. But this one is a different type of lens. It's a fast lens where I can just have the aperture just wide open, sucking in much more light than f2.8, and just getting that different style of look, you know, for the photo. So if you have any questions, this is the lens that came with it, and just hit me up with some questions, what you think about the lens. Ask me some questions like, should you get the lens or whatever, and it's just basically up to you, whatever you shoot, and if it's something you want, and if this is in your budget, because you have this, you have the 50 1.4, you have a whole variety of different lenses. But depending on what you shoot and depending on how you like your photos to be, you know, look, will decide what type of lenses you go for and things like that. So this is your young boy, young J.Perk at J.Perk Productions, and this has been a review of the 85mm f1.8, and that's the review. So holla at me.